Imagine a species evolved for open horizons, natural light, the scent of soil and vegetation, the unpredictable rhythms of weather. And now picture that same species spending almost 93% of its life indoors. That's the modern human. We are an outdoor animal living an indoor life. So, today we're going to ask a simple but surprisingly neglected question. What actually happens to your brain when you don't go outside? Stay tuned for more. Deep in your temporal lobes in your brain sits the hippocampus, the structure involved in memory, navigation, and emotional regulation. It evolved to map environments rich in landmarks and textures and smells and sounds. A study from the University College London showed something important. When we navigate using our own internal maps, the hippocampus is more engaged. When we lean heavily on turn-by-turn guidance, people tend to build weaker spatial memories. The hippocampus is plastic. Intense spatial learning is associated with structural differences. The worry is less damage and more disuse. Skills you stop practicing tend to fade. London taxi drivers, for instance, famously have larger posterior hippocampi in their brain, built through years of spatial learning. People with little natural exploration show the opposite pattern. So, what happens if someone barely goes outside? The brain receives few spatial cues. The hippocampus becomes understimulated. Navigation confidence drops. Memory feels less sharp. None of this is dramatic necessarily. It's a subtle erosion, one that outdoor environments protect us from. A big piece of the puzzle is something psychologists call directed attention fatigue. This is the exhaustion you feel when your brain has been filtering constant digital and cognitive noise. Indoors, especially in urban settings, your attention is pulled at relentlessly. Nature does something different. Kaplan's attention restoration theory showed that natural scenes create a soft fascination, patterns that gently engage the mind without demanding effort. In one study, students who walked in a park for 50 minutes improved their working memory 20% more than those who walked in a busy city street. Hospital patients in rooms with views of trees often need fewer pain medications and recover faster. This is evidence that the brain calms more easily when exposed to natural cues. So, when you don't go outside, your attention stays in a kind of always-on mode. Your mental buffer fills. Emails and notifications and tasks elbow their way in. Your brain loses access to the effortless reset that natural environments reliably provide. And staying indoors isn't just a psychological issue, it becomes biological. So exposure to nature, even brief exposure, can reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. In everyday life, spending around 20 to 30 minutes in nature is associated with measurable drops in cortisol. Meanwhile, indoor air, no matter how clean, can be less diverse in functionally beneficial microbes, so bacteria, viruses, etc., that can be good for our health and can differ from outdoor air in ventilation, chemistry, and biological inputs, which can shape what we inhale. Outdoor environments contain what we call biogenic compounds, so things like terpenes or oils from trees, that can activate parts of the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the part of the nervous system responsible for rest and digest. Forest bathing studies in Japan show reductions in heart rate, improvements in vagal tones, again part of the nervous system, increases in particular cells that are important for our immune system, and other benefits to our health. When we don't go outside, we lose access to these natural stress modulating cues. Instead, the stress system becomes dominated by artificial signals, so things like deadlines, screens, temperature-controlled air, prolonged sitting, etc. And your microbiome in your body, so that community of different microbes living inside and on you, they can miss these what we call old friends microbes from the environment. Here's where it becomes even more fascinating. So your microbial exposures influences your immune system, your stress resilience, and potentially also your mood. See my other video on the old friends hypothesis. Indoor environments, especially sealed modern ones, have limited microbial diversity, especially that natural diversity. Doors and HVAC systems reduce the flow of outdoor environmental microbes as well, indoors. Studies on children's immune systems show that exposure to biodiverse outdoor environments, so soils, microbes, plants, surfaces, outdoor air, etc., can increase anti-inflammatory immune profiles, so essentially they can promote proper immune function in children. People living near green spaces often exhibit lower rates of anxiety and depression too, and we think this is partly through the immune system and nervous system talking to each other. When you rarely go outside, your encounter with environmental microbes shrinks dramatically, especially with the ones that we've co-evolved with that are naturally diverse. You breathe recycled air, you touch fewer natural surfaces, your immune system receives less training. This doesn't necessarily cause immediate illness, but it influences how resilient or reactive your stress and immune systems become. Your gut-brain axis, so that two-way communication system linking your brain to your gastrointestinal tract, where microbes can actually talk to your brain and vice versa, we think that this is also partially shaped by the time you spend outdoors. So indoor-only living deprives it of that ecological information that keeps your body healthy. And there's another layer, so mood and mood regulation. People report better emotional regulation, reduced rumination, and improved confidence after spending time in green or blue spaces. One experiment showed that just looking at natural scenes reduced activity in brain regions linked to brooding and repetitive negative thought, whereas indoors-only living reinforces repetitive routines, digital feedback loops, sensory predictability, and limited movement patterns. Outdoor environments offer a rich mixture of sounds, smells, textures, and shifting stimuli that keep the brain adaptable. This variety is linked to improved creativity, divergent thinking, and emotional flexibility. When you don't go outside, your sensory diet becomes narrow. The brain becomes less resilient to stresses. Sleep may become less restorative, and mood may become flatter. Creativity may drift downwards. People rarely connect this to lack of outdoor exposure. The change is gradual, the way erosion is gradual. But the brain evolved outdoors, and it still expects that world. So what can you do? These are 3 practical actions. Number 1, get 20 to 30 minutes of green outdoor time most days if you can. Studies across multiple countries show this is the minimum for measurable improvements in stress physiology, immune regulation, and cognitive restoration, so brain health. Number 2, seek complexity, not just being outside. So if you can, walk through varied vegetation and follow uneven paths. Seek sunlight and dappled shade. Explore new routes. So all of these things bring in slight complexity and diversity. The hippocampus responds strongest to novelty and spatial richness. Number 3, add a microdose of nature to indoor life. If you generally can't get outside some days, open a window for airflow. Bring in different plants with textured leaves and soil. Use natural light where possible. Step onto a balcony if you have one. Listen to the natural soundscapes to reduce sympathetic nervous activation. So that's the part of the autonomic nervous system that primes your body for stressful events. These aren't replacements, but they soften the edges of indoor living. So try and replicate those outdoor environments indoors if you can by bringing in lots of different plants. Your brain is not failing when it craves the outdoors. It's remembering what it evolved for. And the more indoors our lives become, the more important it is to reclaim even tiny pockets of the natural world, to let our attention rest, our stress systems settle, and our minds reconnect with the diversity of life that once shaped every moment of human existence. If you found this episode interesting or useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and you can sign up to my free newsletter over at www.jakemrobinson.com. And remember, stay wild inside and out.